Hey everyone, what's up? Echo here. Welcome back to another life story. I know it's been a while again. To be honest, time just keeps on rolling, Shit just keeps happening. I just get busy. This is just an excuse I'm telling myself for being lazy, but shit just happens, I've started an apparel company. It's called The Stitch, Canada. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyway, today I was just thinking, you know what, fuck it, I'll make a video this morning before I go to work. I got a little bit of spare time this morning. I've just been getting beers before work as well, literally every single fucking day. That's how you know I'm really healthy and in a really good point in my life. And then I saw a video this morning about at least we're not Canada, and it was some financial video about Canada and how Canada's so shit. So that's fun. Really gives me good hope for the future. Honestly, I really wanted to live in the US, but I could not get a visa. I tried. My dream city is New York, penthouse, high rise. But, anyway, we'll get there one day, I swear to God. But getting distracted, today, I wanted to tell you guys about the time, or one of the times, I got detained, not arrested, okay, just detained, while tripping balls on acid. So this story takes place when I was probably 18, maybe 19, probably 18 though. I was at uni with some friends and I studied music production, so I had some pretty cooked people in my classes. So this one guy, his name was Jackson, he's pretty cool, still a good friend of mine to this day. But he was a total tripper, a wigger, as we would say. So this guy would just always just kind of wig out. He's much more chill now, but back then he was just a total trip out, dude. I don't know, he'd have these I don't know if it was autistic episodes or ADHD episodes, I don't know. I'm his friend, I'm allowed to say this about him. I'm just kidding anyway. But he'd always just have this weird vibe going on, Anyway, so one day it was Thursday morning. I think it was literally 7 or 8 a.m. we caught up. And we decided that day we're gonna do acid. So we drop acid at not even 9 a.m. It's probably 8. And he's driving us, right? Now we drop and we're thinking oh, we probably got a good hour or two before it kicks in. So we can just kind of hang out. Anyway, we're hanging out by the beach and then he just turns to me and goes, Josh, we have to go. And I'm yeah, I'm feeling it too. You're right, we need to go. We can't be here when, we start peaking. There's families, people out for their morning runs and stuff. There's a lot of people around here. We cannot, be here. We're just feeling it. And it was so quick as well. It was literally 15, 20 minutes. And I was oh shit, here we go. Anyway, so we drive down to these mud flats in the summertime. It completely dries up. And it's just kind of this massive, muddy, crusty area you can walk on. It's actually pretty cool, really beautiful. And dude, we were tripping on this stuff and the floor, because it's all segmented and cracked, every step felt like I was walking on a new platform, and it was going up and down, the colors are crazy, the trees, the bird sounds are insane. And this was a beautiful day as well. It was not a single cloud in the sky. It was pretty hot, but it was beautiful. And we had already made a number of mistakes. First of all, we were tripping in public. You just shouldn't do that, to be honest. 2, we did not bring water or food with us. 3, we were just kind of our only transportation was a car. The area we were in, you can't just get a bus. And as if you want to get a bus while you're tripping balls, or a train while you're tripping balls. It's just not it. It's just not what you want to do. So anyway, we're tripping. We start walking out of this park and around a bit, right? Because we're getting kind of bored just at the same park. Well, not bored, but we're having loops. And this is kind of the first loop that started, was walking around this mud flat. So then we start walking around the street. Anyway, he's okay, let's go back to my place. I'm yeah, sweet, great idea. He's we can actually walk from here. I didn't know where he lived. I was okay, sweet. Probably for the next hour or so. So it's probably 9:30ish, 10 in the morning. We were just walking in literally circles. Literally circles, just around the block, around the block, around the block. And there was a school as well. I'm pretty sure it was school holidays, thank God, but if we were walking in circles around school, we literally would have had the cops called on us. And that's kind of where we're going in this story. So it gets to a point where we're doing a few loops and I'm getting frustrated with him because I'm bro, we have actually walked around here 4 times. I'm just following you. We're looping right now. We actually need to fix this. And he's like, actually, like, bro, you're right. Like, so anyway, we start walking up like this hill, and then I don't remember where we're going, maybe like to get food or something. I honestly have no idea. It's pretty foggy. I was tripping pretty fucking hard at this point. And then my friend just looks at me and goes, shit, like, it's the police. And I was like, what? I was rolling a cigarette while this was happening, right? And I'm like, what? And like, we're walking at the same time. So I'm walking, tripping balls, and rolling a cigarette. Like, that's a lot of concentration. So I'm just focusing on rolling my cigarette. This guy starts sprinting, like full speed, straight ahead. He was fucking running like he was being chased by a tiger or something. He was sprinting. Anyway, I'm just like, he's obviously just wigging out. So I just keep rolling my cigarette. I'm just walking, chilling. I had a backpack on, by the way, and what's inside the backpack will become important in a second. Anyway, probably like 10 seconds later, guess who pulls up beside me? A fucking police car. And I was like, oh shit. He actually did see a police car. So obviously I stopped because I'm chilling, like, yeah, I'm tripping balls, but like, I'm just kind of hanging out, you know, like I'm not doing anything. Anyway, I remember just making myself so comfortable on the back of their car. Like, they were getting out of the car and stuff. I like put my bag down. I'm fucking starting to roll a cigarette like on the back of the car so I have a flat surface to use. And they're like, put that down. And I'm like, just wait. And I finished rolling the cigarette. They were actually pretty chill for letting me do that. Anyway, they asked me like, oh, did you break into that car down there? I guess there was a car down the end of the street that was broken into. And I said, oh, like, no dude, like, and I think that's what they were mainly worried about. They were just asking me a bunch of questions about this car, and I was like, no. Anyway, then they said to me like, oh, well, can we search your backpack? And I knew what was in my backpack. Like, I had a fucking bong, like a Gatorade bong, like homemade, whatever. It's illegal to have on me, and you know, I shouldn't have been just carrying it around, especially because we weren't smoking till way later that day. But, you know, I should have left it in his car or something, but it's fine. I had it on me. I wasn't going to be like, no, you can't search my bag. Like, I'm tripping. I don't feel like normal. I'm not going to start arguing with the police officer. Like, I just wanted the situation to be over because I didn't break into the car and I didn't want them to think I broke into the car. So anyway, I give them my bag. I didn't even tell them. I just said like, look, like, there you go. What's in there's mine. Like, that's it, period. And they're asking me questions about my friend and I just refused to answer those questions. I just said, look, like, I don't think I can get in trouble for not answering your questions about my friend, so I'm not going to do that. And I didn't. They were like, where do you go and shit? And I'm like, honestly, first of all, I don't even know. Like, he just sprinted off. Second of all, I wouldn't tell you if I did. So anyway, they pull out my like homemade billy and they're like, okay, like, obviously, you know, not the end of the world, but you know, it's a problem. You can't have that. We'll take that off you. Then they're going through my bag still after confiscating my billy and they pull out like a bag of chips, like salt and vinegar chips, I think. And the guy was like, oh, like munchies, haha. And I was just like, oh no, like, honestly, the texture's just quite interesting. I just remember saying that because I was so fucked up. And I remember him also saying to me at this point as well, like, dude, like, look at you, like, it's 9 a.m. and you're like literally so fucked up. Like, it's the middle of the week, like, you should be at work or at school or doing something, you know, you can't be like doing this. And this actually did wake me up a little bit. Did I still act like a total degenerate for like 3 more years after? Yes, but at least, like, you know, this kind of stuck with me and this kind of got through to me a little bit. So anyway, it keeps going through my bag and then, you know, just takes the bong and stuff and then he's putting stuff back in my bag and he's probably thinking to himself at this point, like, I found the billy, but I didn't find any weed. So he's kind of like, you know, he's got that suspicious look on his face. So he takes the pouch off me because, like, at this point, the pouch was just chilling on the back of his car still. And so he's kind of going through it. Now, he's not really rummaging through it, but he is like touching it. Now, I had, and I totally forgot I had it, but I had like a nug or two in there, okay? Very small, probably less than a gram, honestly. Like a tiny, tiny little bit of weed. And it was like mixed up with the tobacco. It was like, you know, it was still in nug form, but it was kind of hidden in the tobacco. Like if he opened it, he wouldn't be able to see it straight away. So anyway, he's giving it back to me and then he like stops and I'm like, shit. And he literally holds it for another second, feels it, I can see him. He's touching the nugs. Like he's literally rolling the nug around in his finger, but like, you know, through the plastic of the pouch. Like he's touching the nug through the plastic. He can touch it. He's feeling it. I know he can see it. But then do you know what he does? He feels it. He feels the other nug, waits a second, gives it back to me. And I literally looked at him and I was like, thank you. Like, we both know that I had weed on me, but definitely this guy could not be fucked going through and like doing paperwork for literally less than a gram of weed. Like, dude, the court would just throw that out like it's nothing, you know, it's less than a gram, like, come on. So anyway, I did get a court date for my Billy, and I went to court. It was funny, the court was actually back up that way, back near where my friend lived, and so I broke a good behavior bond because I had already been to court before, which I think I talked about actually last story or the story before. I was dressed like shit for my court date because I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to get on a train and get there on time, and the judge was like really well, judgy toward me, but like he didn't know that I had literally gotten up at like 3:30 in the morning to come after working all night the night before. Like, it's not like I'm a lazy person or like a bad person. It's just sometimes people get the wrong impression of me because of some of my actions and choices, you know, and I still think that's still true to this day. So anyway, I remember after my court date, that same friend picked me up again and we went and got high as fuck, and he's like, I will shout you a sesh, I'm so sorry for leaving you. Oh, and I almost forgot, later that day after the police had left, I obviously had to get the train back home because like my friend was fucking who knows where and I needed to go home. And on the train, his mum called me, and his mum was like thinking I was all a bad influence and shit. And she's like, first of all, like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then she's like, well, Jackson's like obviously tripping the fuck out, like, but I'm sure you know all about that. Like, she thought it was like my fault, like I was the Antichrist. And I was like listening to Jackson in the background. He's like, no, like he was just freaking out, dude. Like, it was crazy. And I was just like, oh, like, dude, I got stopped by the police, but like, it's fine. Like, they were literally really chill with me. They were really nice to me. It's fine. I'm getting the train home. Like, don't worry. But yeah, he was just wigging out. So this is just one of the times like I was tripping balls. Honestly, this is one of the drugs that like, and my friend always says this, acid is one of those drugs that like, the more you do it, the less you want to do it. Like, I feel like there might be a few people who really like it, but there's definitely a point you kind of get to where you're like, you know what, I've seen enough. And this is one of the experiences where I was getting pretty close to the end. I think I only tripped 2 or 3 more times after this, and that's it. Like, honestly, you kind of get to a point where it's like, okay, like, I get it. Brain melting, and you think you're so spiritually awakened for like 2 weeks after because of the afterglow, that's what we call it. But you're not, like, your brain is just like damaged. Do not think that doing psychedelics or drugs like that make you more enlightened. It does not. It makes you think you are, and it actually gives you this kind of like ignorance or arrogance, like, or disposition toward other people. But like, that is like an issue. Like, with you think that other people are the issue, but you're actually the issue. It's like this ignorance, and you don't understand it until you stop doing it. And you will never listen to anyone until you stop doing it. So anyway, this was a bit of a ramble episode. A lot of my videos are kind of going this way right now. I like talking and just kind of yelling into the ether. It's fun. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. Please check the description, like, share, and check the description for my clothing brand. Like, share, and subscribe for more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Jack off vids.